Hello to each and every one of you, my new listeners, my favorite listeners. This is Diana Price. Thank you for joining us today on Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. We're here every Tuesday. You know that, 12 noon. Come and have lunch, and you don't have to expend any calories. And you know that we always have the who's who in our seat. And the seat is an acronym for speakers, entrepreneurs, executives, authors, and thought leaders. So if you're paying attention this week to our blog, you know that we have one of the most sought after supplier development authorities in the seat today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him in a few minutes, but I want you to first be sure that you are tuned in to RMC on Live. And if you want to call us, if you want to talk to us at any point during the day, the phone number is area code 323-965-1600. Did I get that right, guys? 323-965-1600. So you can interact with us today because we're going to be giving you a lot of nuggets that you can use not only in your business and professional life, but your personal life. It's all for your personal development. That's what we do right here at Diana Price and Associates on Spicy Business Talk. So get your brains together. Always bring your brains to this show because you can't just sit around and, you always get something that you can use in your business. So today I have the pleasure of having a great friend with me today. When I say a great friend, he's a new friend. And that's what business is all about. It's about really, really getting to know people and participating and interacting and building relationships. Because we're going to talk about, I have so many notes today, I don't want to forget anything. I did a blog today for the guest, and the guest actually gave me this blog to put on, Charles Bray, and we're talking about the three-legged stool. Did you see that? If you didn't, go over to dpriceassociates.com. So let me tell you about my guest. He is one of the amazing individuals in this business called supplier development. He's the president of Sullivan International. He has a BS degree in electrical engineering from Purdue. He's a brilliant guy. Brilliant. He has an MBA from Harvard Business School, finance, an emphasis in finance. Duh. When you see him, you're going to go, oh, he's kind of handsome. He's smart too. He's really smart. He's active in the community. Now, he's a Zeta Rho Foundation mentor. Did I say that right? Zeta Rho Foundation. Zeta Rho Foundation mentor.
Mentoring urban youth.
Mentoring urban youth. This guy is on it. What a role model. What a real role model. I'm having fun with his bio, but he is one of the type of people that we need, not only in our community, but in all of our organizations. All of us entrepreneurs could really learn something from him. Also, he's an adjunct professor at West LA College, and he served on the board of the National Association of Minority Contractors. This is what really impresses me about him. He designed and he implemented the Southern California Edison EDGE program. Let me tell you what EDGE means. All of us entrepreneurs, listen up. Entrepreneurial Development Growth and Education Program. And guess what he's done? He has generated over $200 million in contracts for suppliers in the last 3 years. Go figure. Charles, give me a break.
All right.
You are amazing.
Who is that guy we just talked about? Do I know him? I need to know that guy.
Welcome to Diana's Spicy Business Talk. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I just want you to just kind of give us an overview. How do you do all this stuff? Where do you find the time to accomplish this amazing bio?
Well, actually, I have a clone. And so at the beginning of the week, he and I decide who's going to do what, and we split up the duties.
I love it.
And so we get it done.
That's what I call teamwork. That's exactly what I call teamwork. So we met. Where did we meet? I think we met
at Southern California Edison.
See?
It was the African American History Month annual celebration that Southern California Edison puts on, where they invite business owners from the community to come, and we happened to sit at the same table.
We sat at the same table. I remember that. It was
Absolutely.
Cool. And we did what we called some real crucial business networking.
A lot of networking that day. That's important.
And that was really cool. Well, I think we want to just dig right in. I want you to tell us a little bit about what you do. I know I gave him an overview of your amazing education. You're president of a prestigious firm, Sullivan International. And supplier diversity is huge for entrepreneurs. When I say huge, if you are interested, in corporate big fish and really massing corporate contracts, this guy is the one that's going to allow you to learn what to do and how to do it. We're going to be going through it step by step today. Even if you're not interested in corporate big fish, you're going to learn how to really put your business together in a strategic way so you can do a lot of, just kind of revenue generating for yourself. So tell us a little bit about how the corporate three-legged, what should I call it? The corporate big fish three-legged
You could call
stool.
it a business development approach.
The business development approach.
It's interesting, the concept of the three-legged stool. There are other situations in which that concept is used, so I just borrowed it. But often what happens, and you ask me, how do I get so much done? I have great relationships with a number of people. My business partner, Barbara Sullivan, she's been in business for...
Barbara Sullivan, yay,
yes.
Barbara, she's been around a long
Barbara's
time.
Been around for a while.
A great lady.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Barbara.
Hey, Barbara. Of course, Barbara's up at a CAP meeting in Big Creek today.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she is. But it's really interesting to effectively grow in a corporate environment. You really do need those relationships.
Yeah.
And the way I'm able to do what I do, I have, of course, Barbara. We have relationships with Southern California Edison. We know other consultants. We know other organizations. And relationships are really an important starting point to really growing your business.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you need some level of organization. You asked about the three-legged stool.
Yes.
Oftentimes, when people meet executives from corporations, they don't have a framework in which to fit those executives. So are they talking to a senior executive? Is it a procurement executive? Are you talking to an engineer? Are you talking to someone in customer service? Are you talking to a supplier diversity representative? Oftentimes, business owners don't have a framework to fit those relationships in. So as a result, they may talk to 10 people from the same department and not gain very much traction.
Oh,
so you need
my
a
God.
framework.
You need a framework.
And that's where we called it the three-legged stool.
The three-legged
just
stool.
Borrowing.
So you make a really good point, because when you're talking to someone, even, in general business every day, when you want to make an impression or you want a complaint, you want to get the person that really is in charge, you have to talk to someone that can make a decision, that has a little bit of power. Because if it's, you mentioned a couple titles, supplier diversity representative. I believe you mentioned some names that had a little bit more clout in that. Engineering.
Could be operations, customer service.
There you go.
Procurement.
So let's just start with I've got all these questions here for you.
Here's a simple framework.
Okay.
Procurement spends the money.
Procurement spends the money.
So in the long run, of course, you want to be on the bidders list and do those types of things. But from a relational standpoint, it's really the business or the organizational unit. They control, it's really their project.
Yes.
They're the owner of the project. They're the person that has the budget for the project. They're the person you'll work with directly in the situation. It's actually them. But procurement spends their money.
Procurement spends the money. Now, in a real world, do you always get to the procurement person right away, or do you have to go through channels? You know, you go to an event, you go to a supplier diversity event, and you see all these wonderful, awesome people, you know, all dressed up in their nice business attire, and they're at the booth, and they have business cards, and they may or may not be the right person to talk to.
Absolutely. And so not all supplier diversity programs are created equal. Some are very effective in that they're really committed to helping you get the contracts in a reasonable period of time. Others are brand new programs, not that the person in the seat isn't committed, but simply they may not have the level of opportunity. So when you go to an event, it's important, in addition to them qualifying you, you need to qualify them and understand who you're talking to. Typically at those events, and I call it the supplier diversity circuit, I used to call it the chicken wing circuit. They usually serve chicken for lunch, but supplier diversity circuit, if you're out on the circuit, most of those people are supplier diversity professionals. And they're really your internal advocate. Their job is to really help you advocate, help you penetrate the account. But oftentimes they'll tell you to register on the portal, and it'll go no further than that.
Got it.
Some companies send procurement people to those events as well. Now, you may be talking to a procurement person who may not buy what it is you have to offer. So very quickly, you want to have some qualifying questions at those events to qualify the opportunity. But the person you really want to get to is the end user, the business unit, it's the organizational unit, the person who really needs what you have to offer.
So let's back up one step further. How do you prepare yourself to be at this event? What do you need to have, you know, in your hand, in your pocketbook? What do you need to have when you show up at this event?
That's a great question. Other than your business cards, you should really do a little preparatory work before you get there. There's a book called Spin Selling, which I highly recommend.
I read that.
Neil Rackham.
I think you told me about that book.
Has a very specific approach to selling. It's a simple but it's effective approach. You want to have your questions lined up, and you want to review who's going to be at the event before you come. And specifically, you want to look at your product and service and think about who at this event may actually purchase what it is you have to offer.
And if what you have to offer is what they want.
Absolutely. And then beyond that, you want to prepare some questions for them so you can qualify. Is your organization actively looking for human resource consultants at this point?
Right.
Tell me about how your organization delivers human resource consulting. Who in your organization should I talk to regarding human resource consulting?
Correct. Or whatever it is.
Whatever your product or service is.
Whatever your product or service is. So, okay, you register on the company's supplier diversity portal.
Not necessarily.
Okay, because that in itself, I've registered on so many supplier diversity portals, and if you don't follow up, you kind of go into a little black hole.
And not only that, many times you'll be asked to register on the portal, but what you want to know first, is there an opportunity?
Yes.
Entrepreneurs, as you said, our time is limited, so we have to be effective in the use of our time. Absolutely. I would not register on a portal unless I thought there was a bona fide opportunity for me to do business.
Correct. Because if you do, you're just registering, and they will encourage you to register.
Always.
Oh, we want your information. We want, to have everything that you need. We really need you to be in our portal if we're going to be able to talk with you. So that's a very good point. You have to have your ducks in a row first, because if what you offer is not compatible to what they want, you're wasting your time regardless of what they tell you.
Absolutely. And if you didn't register on the portal, it doesn't mean you couldn't do business.
Okay.
You can still do business without being on the portal.
You can. You sure can. But I guess they like to...
It helps. It helps.
Yeah.
But first you want to qualify the opportunity. You
right.
want to make sure that there's a bona fide opportunity there for you.
Right. We are talking with Charles Bray, the president of Sullivan International. We're talking about the three-legged stool and how to get that corporate big fish. We'll be right back. You're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk on rmconlive.com. Stay with us. Hi, this is Diana Price, CEO of Diana Price and Associates and host of Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. We're here every Tuesday at 12 noon on rmconlive.com. That's Pacific Standard Time. Do you have any challenges that you need to unwrap? Any leadership challenges? Anything that is confronting your comfort zone? Because when you tackle your comfort zone, when you change your language, you're going to be a lot more successful with your sales. You'll have better interactions with your customers, your employees. Everything around you will start getting better results. And that's what we do here. We welcome the who's who of the seat on Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. Speakers, entrepreneurs, authors, and thought leaders. So we want you to join us and call us for a strategy session, a free strategy session, so we can figure out what your sizzle assessment is. And if you are becoming the influential leader and business professional that you need to become. Email us at dianapriceassociates.com. And we'll see you next week on the show every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. See you. Welcome back. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio, where we have today the president of Sullivan International, Charles Bray, and we're talking about the three-legged stool, how you capture the corporate big fish. Charles, let's recap. What's the three-legged stool? What are all three legs? Let's get that.
We'll recap that, and I must say I like that song, "Happy." And if you get the big fish, you'll be happy, right?
Happy.
You'll be singing the song, right? You'll be happy,
yes,
okay?
Yes.
So the three pieces are supplier diversity, procurement, and the end user. Those are the three legs.
Supplier diversity, procurement, and the end user.
And the end user. Supplier diversity is your advocate. Procurement buys. The end user is your ultimate customer.
One more time. Supplier diversity is the advocate.
That's your advocate. Procurement purchases.
They give you the money.
They give you the contract. Negotiate terms and conditions with you. But your end user, that's your ultimate customer.
The person, the people that are actually
going to use your product
and
service.
service.
And really, that's who you want to get to. And many small businesses don't get to the end user, which is why they don't sustain themselves in large accounts. The end user is the goal.
That's the huge goal.
Absolutely.
So, with the three-legged stool, how is an entrepreneur, a small business, a large business? I mean, you know, we see large businesses going after supplier diversity contracts. Go figure. So how are you going to get your value proposition together so you can compete with all these other big fish that are going after the big fish?
That's a great question. Large is a relative term.
Yes.
In the auto industry, for example, a $200 million supplier is very small. That's a small supplier in the auto industry.
Fish.
Absolutely. An auto industry direct supplier may be an $18 billion a year company. So it depends on which pond you're in, first of all. But usually what we'll call small businesses, the key is a niche. Most of the time you need a niche, something that you can uniquely deliver as well, if not better, than anyone else.
I like that.
That's the key. It's a niche. And your relationships with your end users are really important. And that's how you gain access to know what they really need.
Yeah. So when you're providing value, it's like you are the most unique. You might be doing it differently, better than anybody else in that marketplace. And the size is relative at that point.
Absolutely. Being a diverse supplier helps, but it's not a unique value proposition. You need to have a service you can deliver in terms of your pricing. If you're a construction firm, your pricing needs to be aggressive. If you're a professional services firm, you need some unique attributes to the service you offer. Oftentimes, a unique value proposition simply means you ask the customer what it is they really needed, you listened carefully, and came back and addressed their specific concerns.
And you
That's
provide
where
that solution.
Spin selling is important, to ask the right questions, to understand the need, and then come back and provide the solution.
And provide that solution.
Absolutely.
Absolutely critical. So there are categories. There are categories like, professional
services, construction, materials, could be IT, software services.
With these categories, I'm going to go back to the real beginning. Do you need to have, and I know the answer to this question, but do you need to have some kind of certification? And if you do, how do you go about getting that so you can go after these contracts? Or do you not need the certifications? Can you know, it might be changed. It might be changed.
Well, and certification is a big word in that people typically think minority, woman, service-disabled veteran, LBGT certification. That is what I'll call a diverse certification.
That's a diverse certification.
But it could be an ISO 9001 certification.
Oh, what's that?
It's a quality certification. Or if you're in the auto industry, a TS 16949 certification, which is a certification in the auto industry.
Okay.
Or an AS 9100 if you're in the aerospace industry.
Got it.
So it's very important to understand what your customer needs and have the appropriate certification.
So it doesn't really matter what your business is. I mean, if you can find a niche in the supplier development market, you know, it's possible that they could use your services. So
Absolutely.
We're mostly talking to the people in the seat. And the seat, in our case, is an acronym for speakers, entrepreneurs, authors, thought leaders, so small businesses. So with that market, the people in the seat that I just described, those are the people that we're talking to now that are, you know, potentially will be certified, we'll be going after the big fish. So do they need, when we talk about certification, is there something that they should know about certification from a supplier diversity standpoint?
There are first of all, certification is alphabet soup. There are many certifications. Different customers use different certifications. But let's say you're going after large commercial accounts.
Got it.
Then if you're a minority, your typical certification there is with the National Minority Supplier Development Council, NMSDC. They will certify you as a minority-owned business. In that certification, size is not relevant.
Right.
They simply certify you as a minority business. In California, if you're a service-disabled veteran, it's the Department of General Services who will provide the certification. Also, if you're a woman-owned business, WeBank provides certifications as a woman-owned business. There are many other certifications. If you're doing business with the government, it's a DBE certification, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And there's 8A. So there are many types of certifications. Certification absolutely adds value.
It does.
The key is to understand which certifications your customers value and have the appropriate ones given your target audience.
Got it. So certification adds value, but it shouldn't be the crutch that you lean on.
Absolutely.
It should not be the crutch that you lean on.
Absolutely. If you go in and say, I'm a certified business.
I'm certified. Yeah, here's the door. It's right there.
It adds value.
It does.
But it's not your unique value proposition.
Absolutely.
You have to be good at what you do.
You have to be. Otherwise, there's the door. So we got that. Now, certification, we know that adds value. The value proposition, you have to be unique. You have to be really good at what you do. So now, I want to get the names of these people. I want to start my mission to getting some big fish.
Okay.
I'm ready. I know what I need to do. So how do I get the names of these buyers and end users?
This is where your internal organization can help. We've consulted with a number of companies, we'll say between $5 and $100 million. And typically the ones that are really successful have an owner who actively sells and who has relationships. But to really grow beyond just having the owner selling, you need some level of internal organization. And so, simple way to get the names is just to ask. When you go to the event,
go figure.
Who is the buyer of such and such and such and such?
Did you hear that? Ask.
Just ask. And they may tell you, they may not. You also want to ask for what's called a capabilities review. That's an opportunity for you to get in front of them and actually tell your story. So you want to simply ask, and then you need some level of internal organization so you can track all the names you get. You may meet 15 people from an organization. And keep in mind, large corporate fish, it's typically 18 to 36 months before you get an opportunity to bid. It's a long sales cycle with many of your large corporations.
That's up to 3 years.
So make sure you're talking to the right people. You don't want to spend 3 years to discover, we don't really purchase what you have to offer. Or our contracts don't come up for another 5 years. So the questions you ask are really important. If I was going to give one piece of advice, write down penetrating questions so you can qualify the opportunities quickly.
Very important, because 3 years is a long time to wait, and you end up with NOTHING. Not good.
And you have to pay your office rent.
You got to pay
business expenses.
Precisely. So I have another question for you. I've got several questions. I hope we don't run out of time because this is kind of cool. So
Go for
I
it.
want
take
to
my jacket off
okay.
here.
Get comfortable.
Get
take
comfortable.
Take your
take
jacket
my jacket off.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go.
Absolutely.
A lot of questions, so we're going to get to work now.
Here we go. Let's roll up
Didn't know
these
I'd be
sleeves. There we
working
go.
today.
All right, you guys get your pens and pencils out. Charles has his jacket on. We are ready to rock and roll. So I now am going to want to negotiate a master services agreement. How do I do that? And where do I start? Okay. And before I want you to answer that, I want you to tell our viewers about what we call a capability statement. He said you need to get in front of them with the capability statement assessment. So let's talk about what's on that capability statement and why it's important to have a capability statement when you go to meet some of these users.
Absolutely. Most organizations have a one-page, what they call a line card or a statement of capabilities. It's usually one page, talks about your products or services, contact information, who your customers were, what your certifications are, etc.
Right.
And that's a piece that you can give out and leave behind.
It's kind of bragging on yourself.
Absolutely. But when I talk about capabilities review, this is an opportunity to get in front of procurement or an end user within an organization. And you do want to ask for that.
So when you ask for that, are you asking for a separate meeting with them
Absolutely.
at their site?
Absolutely.
So you're asking to make an appointment for a capabilities
You want a
review.
sit-down conversation.
You want to be interviewed by them.
Absolutely.
And you want to interview them.
Now, here's the key. Here's the key. Before your interview, it's important to make some phone calls to find out what they need. Your capabilities review is
Absolutely.
way more
Precisely.
effective if you know what they need before you go.
If you've done your homework.
And then when you go in, you can say, look,
Yeah.
here's what we offer.
This is what we offer.
In addition to some other things.
Yeah.
One mistake in the capabilities review, if they say, oh, we need ABC, oh, we can do that.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we need D, E, F, and G, oh, we can do that.
We can do that.
We need H, I, J, K, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
Because what they hear is you're not focused, you're trying to do everything too much, which means
Yeah.
you probably do nothing really
Yes.
well. Go in and talk about what you do really well.
One thing that you do.
Maybe two at the most.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
no more than 3.
But I get that because if you do 1 or 2 things, usually you can really dig deep into what you do and you can customize or you can, kind of make it work for if you're really, really, really good at it.
Typically, there's a learning curve, and
Yeah.
the more we do something, the better we are at it.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
You got it. So that's good. So now we've talked to we had our interview. We talked about the capabilities review, and we want to get rolling. What's next?
Water torture.
Water
Follow
torture.
Up, follow up.
I like that.
Follow up.
Follow up.
Drop
follow
water on their forehead every
Yes.
4 to 6 weeks.
You call it water torture.
Hi, this is Chuck Bray calling. Really enjoyed our capabilities review. I look forward to our next steps. Do you have opportunities that we can talk with you about?
This is huge.
Let's say they don't call or email you back.
Yes.
4 to 6 weeks later. Hi, this is Chuck Bray calling. Just wanted to follow up, say I really enjoyed meeting you. Would love to hear from you. We've got some additional services that we're offering, and we'd love to talk with you.
So what you just said, would you call it water torture?
I call it water torture.
I've never
You
heard
have
it
to
called
just
water
keep
torture
dropping
before.
water on them.
Water torture is very cool. But water torture is what you do with not only supplier development, but with your everyday business.
Well, typically, too, you really want to get to know the end user and procurement. So that's who you really want to follow up with.
Torture.
Now, here's the challenge. You're an entrepreneur and you have 50 things to do. How do you do this follow-up?
Right.
What we recommend is that you have an administrative person who's actually in your office who may have other functions. You give them a list of your 20 clients you want to follow up on, and they follow up on a consistent basis on your behalf until the opportunity comes your way. And work your relationships too. And top down is pretty effective. If you can go in and say, I had a meeting with your president, and he wanted me to call you to discuss opportunities.
There you go.
That helps you get a phone call.
Really does. This is good stuff. We are talking to Charles Bray. He's the president of Sullivan International, and he is a supplier development thought leader. You're listening to Diana Price's Spicy Business Talk, and we will be right back. We'll be right back.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go! Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like
Hey, welcome back. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. So if you haven't already hung out with us on Facebook, we'd love you to go over and give us a great big like at facebook.com, Spicy Business Talk. Facebook.com, Spicy Business Talk, and also Facebook.com, Diana Price Associates. Are you linked with us? If not, you can do that as well. Diana D. Price. That's LinkedIn. We want to really bring you value because that's what we do. We create opportunities, business opportunities, and we allow you to really sizzle your message. We show you how to make your message a lot more effective and thereby yield a lot better results in your business. So let's continue our conversation about the three-legged stool, how to get corporate big fish. We're having a great conversation with Charles Bray, the president of Sullivan International. Welcome back, Charles.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, before the break we were talking about, people that need to have someone to help them follow up, to have an administrator, and I heard in the back of my mind some of our entrepreneurs and small businesses saying, I'm not going to pay for that. I got to do that myself. So what's your advice to people that say you can't do it all as an entrepreneur?
That's true.
If you're going to, I'm going to let you answer that. What should we tell folks that say, I can't afford to have someone help me?
Well, what we encourage people to do is first take a look at your business.
Yes.
Usually, depending on whatever type of business you have, there is an opportunity to have a level of billing for an administrative person. Mm-hmm. There is some task or work that they can do that is actually directly billable to your customer. Obviously, we typically bill our customers more than we pay the people who work for us, and that creates a delta.
True.
Now, there are two different things you could do with that extra profit margin. You could put it in other areas of your business, but what we recommend, give that administrative person, if they're the right person, that's a big if, some extra time and use that time to have them help you with sales administration. My dentist, for example, his office administrator, one of the best sales administrators I know.
Wow.
She calls me relentlessly. She calls me a month before my appointment. She calls me 2 weeks before my appointment. She calls me the day before my appointment to make sure I show up. What is she doing?
Yeah.
She's, of course, helping me have a great smile.
That's right.
But she's also helping him achieve his revenue objectives. Right. And so you really need the right person, someone with great phone skills, who smiles, who's happy, who's not hurt if someone says no.
That's right. So you have to have the right person in the right seat. If they're not in the right seat, well, you may want to rotate seats around, but you really need someone to help you out with that.
And typically they are billable.
They're billable.
Not in the sales role, but in some other function.
Because it's important that whoever is working in your company and for you, that they understand that revenue generation is probably one of the crucial things with small businesses. So in some way, you're delightful, your body language, like you said, the smile, your technique, all that thing is really, really important. And you can sell without selling. We talk a lot about that on this show. There's a way to be delightful and really convert a lot more business than you really realize. So that's good stuff. That's really good stuff.
Some of the better small businesses actually track what they call capacity utilization. They track what percentage of their staff's hours are directly billable.
That is important. That's a huge.
And there's simple ways to do that.
Software or
you could do it with Excel. You could use an Excel spreadsheet. There are others. If you use QuickBooks, there are plug-in modules to QuickBooks that are time-driven that you could use.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
That's a really good idea.
Particularly in a small business, because everyone really does need to generate revenue.
Yeah, exactly. It's
keep the door open. Grow the company.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about how we get in, how we get we talked about the end users. So is there a cycle? Is there a better time to go after these corporate contracts? You know what I mean? Is there a calendar that they say, okay, from X to Y, we're going to be putting out stuff to bid, or how does that work?
Two answers. The best time is every day. There's never a bad time to pursue a contract. Having said that, most organizations have a fiscal year and a budgeting cycle.
Okay.
And so it's important to understand the budgeting cycle of your target customers. Interestingly enough, though, if you call at a high enough level, typically at a higher level, they have some discretionary budget. And there's never a bad time to call, because if it's something that they really need, $100,000, couple $100,000,
they can come up with that.
They can come up with that, absolutely.
So let's talk. I'm gonna turn the tides a little bit. What's a typical contract for Sullivan International?
Typical contract for us.
Contract. What would you do for a supplier? How would you go through your process, and what would the kind of dollar amount be? Well,
interestingly enough, typically we call on the corporations in that they have supplier development programs. We design and implement those programs. I'll just tell you, probably our largest contract for supplier development has been in excess of $500,000 for us to actually implement and design and develop a program. Great. We have some contracts that are as small as $25,000 to do something very similar. So we tailor the approach to meet the needs of the individual. We recently started something new that we're offering to suppliers, and that's the opportunity to help them do business development. We discovered in interviewing about 50 really successful companies, most don't have strong internal sales processes. The follow-up isn't always there. You have an owner, though, who has great relationships, excellent at what they do, well-known, who sells. But to grow beyond the owner, you have to begin to put in a sales infrastructure. Right. I bet if we took phone calls from entrepreneurs, they would tell us many stories of going out and hiring salespeople, only to find 9, 12, 15 months in, the salesperson hasn't bought any sales in, and they didn't know how to value them. So what we do, we recommend the sales administrative process first. We have a very cost-effective way to do that. Once you put the process in place, now you can manage the sales team effectively. And the process is way cheaper than the sales rep.
What's the process?
Part of the process is that sales administrator.
Okay.
You've identified who your target accounts are. You've identified that they need what you have to offer. You have some level of relationships. You have some organization internally where you can track who you're talking to, how often you're following up. They're very simple, what they call CRM systems, customer relationship management.
Yes, we like that customer
relationship. There are some simple ones. Some of them are too complicated, but there's some very simple ones you can use to track opportunity. And when you have salespeople, you have your sales administrator track your salespeople. Here's one more tip with salespeople. Never let them take anything off their sales forecast without your approval.
How could they do that? How would they take a sale off of their forecast?
Well, let's say you've got a new sales rep and they bring you this incredible sales report. We've got $10 million in potential opportunities. Well, what happens?
In potential opportunities.
They drop some off and they add some more. So as a result, they always have $10 to $20 million in the pipeline, which looks really great, but nothing ever closes. So it goes on and on and on. So by requiring them to keep those opportunities on the sales forecast, when you meet with them, ask them very specific questions. It will help you determine, are they just rolling opportunities so they have a big number that looks good, or are they actively working these toward a close? It's very important. And almost every business owner I've talked to has hired salespeople where it didn't work because they weren't tracking the salesperson closely enough.
Yeah. What kind of systems do you use to? Well, there's a lot of systems. We won't get into.
There are a
systems
number
to track.
of them,
There's
but
way too many.
get one that's simple that works for your
because
organization.
They're simple. They're inexpensive systems out there. We can go through that.
A couple $1,000.
Yeah.
You can implement it.
Absolutely. So good. So now here we're talking about what you guys have done. As an example, you've been doing supplier diversity. You've started. We know that it could be up to 3 years. So with Sullivan, and you kind of just setting the pace for what we do and how we do the three-legged going after the big fish. What kind of tips would you give? Small business entrepreneurs that are just say maybe they've got their feet a little bit wet. And they know about supplier diversity, they know what to do, but they haven't had any success. So now they've listened to all this great stuff you've given us today, and they're about to say, I'm going to do this again. So what are the top 5 tips that you would say for them to really be more effective?
Top 5 tips. Okay, I'm going to
3.
sweat here. Let's see. No, I think I can come up with a few. Ironically, the first thing I'd say is size matters.
Size matters.
It really does.
Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, you need to think about your target clients and how much they actually spend.
Your target clients, how much they spend in
Absolutely.
relationship to how large you are?
Absolutely.
Size
For example,
matters.
if you're under $3 million, it'd be very difficult for you to sell directly into the auto industry.
Got it.
Very difficult. You'd probably be what they call a subcontractor or a tier 2
So
supplier.
you're not going to be a prime contractor.
I won't say it's impossible, but I'd say it's very difficult.
Okay.
And most of your larger organizations, they're actually consolidating their procurement and their supply chain. And so they're going to have fewer larger suppliers. So sometimes it's not the direct organization. It's their suppliers who you'd like to do business with.
Yeah, and believe me, there's some pretty good stuff there. There's some pretty good opportunities.
Well,
with,
we're aware
with
of a
subcontractors.
subcontractor just got a $20 million opportunity as a
Very good.
subcontractor to another organization. So
Would you like a $20 million
contract
Yeah.
as a sub?
We'll take
that's
that.
a nice contract. I'll take it.
I'll take that.
Absolutely. That's a good contract.
Absolutely.
So subcontractor.
Tip number 1,
So
size
matters. Tip number 2, qualify opportunities well.
Qualify opportunities well. How do you do that?
You have to ask the right questions.
Ask the right questions.
You've got to know what you do. Do they have a need for what you offer? What type of suppliers? Is there an incumbent? Who's providing these services currently?
And there usually is.
Absolutely. What are the business challenges that your client or target audience is having in that particular area?
How are you dump that's another whole show. How are you going to dump the incumbent? How are you going to upseat an incumbent?
Well, oftentimes you simply ask, tell me the challenges, and people will tell you the challenges
that they're
having with the incumbent.
And if they say, well, that's none of your business, they don't say it like that, but do they ever say that?
Well, usually you don't say, tell me the challenges you're having with the incumbent. What you say, tell me the business opportunities and challenges that you're working on currently.
Okay.
And allow them to tell you. And some people are very close to the vest, and others will spill it all.
Yeah.
So the key is to talk to enough people to create a picture within that account.
Okay. So let's recap. Number 1. Oh, we're gonna recap in a minute. We're gonna finish our 5 tips that you can now just go after this corporate big fish and just get right past that 3-legged stool. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. So we'll be right back.
Hi, my name's Eli Davidson, and I've been on the Today Show, CNN, and Dr. Phil, and it is just a joy to be on Diana's Spicy Talk Radio. Frankly, This is the only show like this that I do because Diana is such a great host. Now, the reason I do it is because I get great audio and great video, and you will too. So my name's Eli Davidson, and if you're a speaker, author, expert, or thought leader, what I do is I teach you how to make multiple six figures with your expertise. So we just talked about somebody on the show that's already made $36,000 from working with me. And what's really key is what Diana does and what I do help you as a speaker and author. She helps you get out there and get known, and I help you make money. So Eli Davidson, and that's ELIDAVIDSON.com.
Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along.
All right, we're back.
Here we go.
We're just having so much fun. We're having so much fun. We're hoping you're having fun with us today and learning. This is Diana. You're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. We're having fun with Charles Bray today. This is a really serious topic, but whoa, he's spicing it up today. We're just having a great time. So we're talking about the tips, and if you have any tips, you can make sure you call in and let us know what those tips are. 323-965-1600. So we're gonna recap and keep going. We're gonna talk about the tips that when you now are going to start a plan, you have your strategy together, you're going to go after the corporate big fish. Size matters is what we talked about. And then you just got to kind of go out and you got to ask around and make sure you get what you want. So let's continue.
Absolutely.
Let's continue. So we said size matters, and we want to really hone in there and ask
for the business.
right questions.
That's right.
Okay.
Probably third, I'd say call high.
Call high.
Absolutely.
I'm writing these down.
Call high.
Call high.
You want to call on the most senior people in that organization that you can call on. In fact, really, you want to work top down and bottom up. Mm-hmm. But you do want to call high.
You want to call
in that if you have value and you talk to the right person, literally, you can. We've walked into situations where we called at the right level. We called on the VP level. We walked out with a contract. Now, it took time to get the contract through the corporate mechanism and procurement.
But you walked out with a signature and an active contract.
We walked out with a commitment to do business.
Commitment to do business.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Absolutely. We walked in, gave a presentation, walked out with a commitment. And at a senior level, that happens much more easily. Junior level, they have to ask for permission, etc. Senior level,
they have no power.
If they like it.
They
can greenlight your project.
I love that.
That's really key.
Call high. So
Absolutely.
Get to know all of the executives that make the decisions.
And understand your customer. If you know them, you can pitch. And if they like the pitch, you may close the deal.
Right. If you need help with those pitches, you give us a call. We'll show you how to do that. Figure out your talk track. You got to have it right. You got to have your talk track the right way.
Absolutely.
And this guy is a wizard at that.
We'll definitely help you put it together.
We definitely will. Number 3, call high. Got that? Got it? Okay.
Number 4, we already gave you, but I'll repeat it. Water torture. Follow up. Make them give you a contract to get rid of you.
I love that.
I don't want this person calling me anymore. Here, take this contract. Just do this.
Again.
And
probably your contract.
That actually leads me into probably the 5th tip. When you get the opportunity, do a really, really, really great job. True story. We had probably one of the most qualified suppliers we ever worked with. They got a small developmental contract, and they felt the contract was beneath them.
They did?
And it was a small, piddly contract relative to what they could do.
Well, why did they go for it? Hello?
Well, they wanted a much larger contract.
And they were given?
They wanted a contract probably 50 times the size of the one they got.
But they were offered this piddly contract after applying for the $50,000 or whatever contract?
They were given a really small contract.
Okay.
And they got offended, and as a result, did not do such a great job. The customer who was managing the small contract probably could have done a better job on their end. But when you're new to an organization and if the customer messes up, you don't want to go to the customer and say, you messed up.
Yep.
What you want to do is deliver. Because unfortunately, that organization, to my knowledge, didn't get any other opportunities. And I know other companies, other suppliers that offer that exact same service who now have multi-million-dollar contracts as a result of them doing a really great job. So if you get a small developmental contract, whatever it is, do a really great job.
Do a really good job.
Absolutely. Because typically it's a foot in the door. And sometimes organizations at the end of the year, they haven't spent their budget and they start looking around for things to do, and they know you, they know you can do a great job.
They know you can deliver.
You may just get a contract.
You may just get a contract. Yeah, we want contracts.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here.
And technical assistance is great, and we all need it and smile and accept it. It's awesome. But as all entrepreneurs know, it's about the contract.
It's about the contract. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're only as good as your contract. And at the end of that contract, if you don't get another, you won't be eating.
It's true.
Right?
Technical assistance is awesome, but you can't pay your business expenses with it. You need contracts.
You can. A friend of mine, he said, he's a CPA, and I'll never forget this. I'll say, I don't know if I should say his name. He's such a great guy. He says, if you don't kill anything, you don't eat.
Hello.
If you don't kill anything, if you don't go out there.
That's probably a topic for another show. How do you hunt and eat at the same time?
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, how do you hunt? Ooh, let's do that show. That's a good one. How do you hunt and eat at the same time? Okay. Well, that's good. So, you know, we've been having a good time with Charles Bray. And
I might say, you have a lovely voice.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. You definitely have a radio voice.
Oh, thank you. It's you know, the thing that I love to do is serve. So my thing is connecting people, is making sure that you get opportunities, finding more about what he does and how he can help you, and how we can all be in a community serving, helping, participating, lifting each other up, and celebrating, and absolutely. That's what Spicy Business Talk is all about. So thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So now back to you. Back to you. Now we've got all these questions, and we have about maybe 7 or 8 more minutes. But let's let me see. What's the other questions that I have? Oh yeah. Okay. How do you grow your firm? How do you grow your firm with supplier development business? How do you grow your firm with supplier development business? Is it like, I'm going to this is another event, got another event going here? How do you grow your business? You keep following up? You've done this?
You know, it's interesting. Most of the companies we've seen grow effectively to the next level, they don't typically have 25 or 30 customers. They have 5 or 6 customers that they've done a really good job for on a consistent basis over time, and they've expanded the opportunities within that account. Any marketing text that you read talks about how much more cost-effective it is to maintain an existing customer and grow an existing customer.
I talk about that all.
Than it is to go acquire a new customer.
Absolutely.
So it's important to attempt to offer additional services within your capabilities, within a current customer account, and to grow your opportunity base. One of the reasons we talk so much about the 3-leg stool, for example, the end user in an organization, there may be 30 end users in that organization who could use your services. But only one knows you, or only 2 know you.
That's right.
And so once you've completed a good opportunity, you may want to ask your end user, are there others in your organization who you feel would benefit from our services? Or ask your procurement agent, are there other procurement agents who in this organization who actually purchase the types of services we offer? Would you be willing to make an introduction? Would you be willing to give us a referral or a reference internal to our existing customer?
You know what you just, I mean, you're really recapping so well, because we talked in the beginning about building that relationship. And what you just said is so crucial to not being transactional. And I know you guys have heard this on the show before. You cannot be transactional. You have to be interact. You have to interact. You
It's
have
relational.
to interact and build that relationship.
Absolutely.
And continue to build it, because that relationship will start spawning other legs that you can, like you said, oh, here's another referral and another one and another one and another one.
We call it corporate account sustainability. You want to have a sustained relationship with your corporate clients. And that's not a one-shot.
It's not a
deal.
one-off. It's
a relationship
it's
built on a mutual understanding
it's a
and knowing
continuum.
what they need
Yes.
on a process basis over time.
Absolutely.
Read their 10K statement
Yeah.
if they're publicly traded.
Yeah.
There's a website,
Know about your client. It's
sec.gov.
Yes.
Any publicly traded company files a 10K report. Learn about their business. Learn the
business.
trends.
Yes.
Educate your customer about their business. Oftentimes, the person you're talking to, you may know more about their company than they do.
That would be great. That would say you've done your homework.
You don't know more about that budget that you're working on, but you can know more about the company as a whole.
That's so important. So, Charles, tell our listeners how we can get in touch with you. How can we get in touch with you? How we can find out more about what you do? And
Well, my email address, which I will give you all, and I'll even give you my cell phone if you'd like it. But my email address, C as in Charles, my last name, which is spelled B as in Brown, R-A-Y, C Bray, at SullivanInternational.com.
you guys get that?
And if you put in the subject line that you heard about me on Spicy Talk Radio, I'll make sure we get back with you promptly.
Spicy Business Talk Radio. Make
There
sure
we
you
go.
put Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio in the subject line.
So Cbray at
Cbray.
SullivanInternational.com.
Okay.
And if you'd like to set an appointment or you have a quick question, I'll give you my number.
Okay.
It's area code 310-467-3773.
You know how lucky you guys are to get
310-467-3773.
Awesome.
Now, when you call me, if you call, I've got two words for you. Brief and powerful. Tell me what you need. Get to the point. I'll help you out, give you some quick referrals.
That's great. Website?
Website is SullivanInternational.com.
Okay.
SullivanInternational.com.
SullivanInternational.com.
But email is a good way to reach me.
Okay. Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you, Charles, for taking the time to be an amazing guest in the seat.
Well, thank you very much.
The who's who of supplier
I
development.
need to hire you to do my PR. That's great. You're my new PR person.
That's what it's all about. We are participating in networking here.
There we go.
And the whole idea, and tell him, Charles, what we do, we create these conversations. We create conversations about things you need to think about, things that maybe you've just been too comfortable in your comfort zone. We want to put a fire under you. We want you to understand that you have a talent, you have a skill, you have something that the world needs, that the planet needs. And if you just sit in your comfort zone and you do nothing about it, oh well. And it might be that sometimes you are in a position in corporate America and you really need to be more entrepreneurial. Is that the right word?
That is the word.
Entrepreneurial in that position.
Absolutely.
And a lot of things that Charles has talked about today relate to not only supplier development, but it relates to you and your business and how you show up in the world, how you show up as in your culture, how you show up in any and everything you do.
And trust me, for you suppliers out there, these things work. We've worked with suppliers that have actually done this and leveraged it and turned it into multi-million-dollar contracts. These techniques are absolutely effective.
Yes.
They absolutely work. We've seen it over and over.
And it's so important that we internalize it and we make it work for us. So I want to leave you with our website, DianaPrice.com. Diana Price Associates. I don't even want a website. Diana Price Associates.
What is your website?
DianaPriceAssociates.com. Is that right? DianaPriceAssociates.com. That's it. Now, it's D Price Associates for our blog, and it's DianaPriceAssociates.com for our website, and SpicyBusinessTalk.com if you want to know anything about our radio show. If you want to sponsor us, sponsor the show, we welcome you. You can email us at DianaPriceAssociates.com, Diana at DianaPriceAssociates.com. If you would like to be a guest on our show, and if you are the best in the seat, if you are the best in your field, speakers, authors, executives, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, if you're the best in your field, let us know. Send us a bio and a headshot, and we'll be more than happy to talk with you and share your message, your powerful message with the world. We thank you for being here. We hope you tell all your friends about us because we love supplying you with all this valuable content that you saw today from my amazing guest and my good friend and my great friend. And guess what? How did we meet again, Charles?
We met at an Edison event.
We met at an Edison. We're
Networking.
There you go.
Talking about supplier development.
We'll show you how to do it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Give us a call.
Give us a call. Give him a call. Give him a call. And if you have any questions, isn't he handsome? He's handsome and he's smart. And he knows how to make it happen.
I feel special now.
What was it, $500 million you made? Oh, my God, I can't remember. Thank you for joining us today. This is Diana Price, and you're listening to Diana's Spicy Business Talk Radio. We'll see you next Tuesday on rmconlive.com. Thank you, RMC. We love you, RMC. And thank you, Pitbull, for being our sponsor. Have a great week.
I wanna house people.